LaxFactor Podcast. What's up, guys? It is time to answer some questions, or one specific question from the LaxFactor Mailbag. This question comes to us from Adam Heller. Give it a listen.
Hey, Ted. I'll bite. So, we talk about offense a lot. At least you do on your podcast. I'm interested to see your take on the best defensive unit going into the 2021 season, and who's holding down the cage, in your opinion, in the 21 best keeper for the 2021 season. Look forward to hearing your response. Happy Thanksgiving.
And Adam is correct. I talk a lot about offense, and part of the reason why is because it is easier to dig up information, statistics. There's a lot more offensive-related statistics to work with. So that's why I talk a lot about offense. But in terms of defense, I think there's an easy answer to this question, and I think that the best all-around defense, the best unit overall, the best defensive team overall in NCAA lacrosse in 2021 is going to be the Army Black Knights. Every year, Army's defense is solid. Even in the years that their team isn't very good, which isn't very often, their defense is still usually insanely solid. In 2020, the shortened season, they finished 6-2 at that point, and they were second in the nation in scoring defense. In 2019, they finished second in the nation in scoring defense. In 2018, eighth in the nation in scoring defense, and they were 5-8 that year. They were 6-2 in 2020, 13-5 in 2019. Both those years, second in the nation in scoring defense. 2018, 5-8. They still finish eighth in the nation. 2017, a 12-4 team, is seventh in the nation. And then 2016, sixth in the nation, and they're 10-7. So there are a ton of reasons to be optimistic that Army's defense is going to continue to be tough and be one of the toughest, if not the toughest defense to face in 2021. The main reason I'm optimistic that their defense is going to be excellent is because of their goaltender, Wyatt Shupler. He's the real reason the real reason the Army reloads on defense every single year is because it seems every year where they have a changing of the guard in cage, somebody new doesn't just step into that role, but they step into that role and end up being a 2, 3, sometimes 4-year starter that plays really well. And in a case with like Shupler, 2019, 0 varsity action. As my daughter would say when she was 3, he got none action. He got none minutes in 2019. 2020, Tewaaraton watch list, 3rd team All-American, 2nd in the nation for goals against, 61.7 save percentage, which was good for 7th nationally, 5.67 goals per game versus ranked opponents, and 16 saves in the very close game that I attended against Syracuse. So Shupler is an incredible goalkeeper, and there's no reason, the junior won't have a similar success next year, especially because he has junior close defender now from West Jenny, upstate New Yorker, Marcus Hudgins is one of probably the close defenders that'll be in front of him. 2020, Hudgins was a 3rd team All-American. He played LSM as a freshman, 15 caused turnovers as a freshman, 35 GBs. He played in every game, all 18 games for Army that year. He moves down to close defense in 2020 and, messes around a little bit, gets 20 caused turnovers, 26 GBs, and a helper in 8 starts. 4th in the nation in caused turnovers in 2020. Don't quote me on that because I think that's what I saw, but now I'm not so sure that was what that stat was. And this was after making the move from LSM to close D. So you would have expected him to continue to get more comfortable down there. There's a big difference between playing LSM and close defense. And I think of all the guys last year that made that transition, one of them being Brett Kennedy from Syracuse, I think Hudgins ended up being the best LSM to close defense kind of move that went on that year. So he would have continued to get better, more comfortable, and that would have been good. It's nothing but good news for Army. Then we end up with Kyle Bear. Beyer. So I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. He'll be a senior. He's LSM. One of the reasons they could move Hudgins down there and not have a problem. 2018, 7 caused turnovers, 26 ground balls. He played in every game that year, notched 26 ground balls to rank second on the team, caused 7 turnovers, produced a career high 7 ground balls against Holy Cross, which is actually pretty crazy. 2019, 11 caused turnovers, 26 ground balls. So, I mean, every year he's contributed. Now he's a senior. He had a good 2020 as well, looked solid. So, in terms of anchoring the midfield and the defensive midfield, Bears there. And then we have a short stick D-mid, Matthew Horace, East Area High School, played all 8 games in 2020 as well, and all 18 games in 2019. So they have a very experienced defense coming back. They did lose 2 seniors that started on close defense, and one of them, I think it was Rigney. I believe he was an All-American or at least All-Patriot League selection or something like that. So they do lose two seniors, but every single guy that will be expected to lead this defense this upcoming season of 2021, all of these guys have solid experience. 12 ground balls, 3 caused turnovers as a freshman. Horace put up 6 ground balls, 4 caused turnovers, and a goal and an assist as a sophomore in 2020. Had 2 points in the win over Lafayette. So I think it's safe to say the Army is going to be, if not the best defensive team overall in the country, they're going to be one of them, definitely a top 2 or 3, I would presume. And if I had to give out an honorable mention, and again, this is kind of playing it safe, partly just because I'm not 100% sure what the dynamic is with these 2021 rosters, but Georgetown had a really good defense last year. And they bring back Gibson Smith, James Donaldson, Alex Mazzone, short stick D-mid, Will Godine. I think that's how you pronounce that, Godine. He'll be a sophomore. And then more importantly, they have Owen McElroy in cage. So McElroy was a first-team media All-American by Inside Lacrosse, was on the Tuarton watch list. Let's see here. Led the NCAA in goals against average, 6.21, save percentage 68.9, had a 6-0 record between the pipes, and averaged 9.67 saves per game. Now, granted, my gripe with Georgetown is always early in the season. They play a fairly weak schedule, and I don't have their schedule in front of me at this moment, but I think Georgetown would be my honorable mention pick in this case. And then there's a couple other teams. I know Vermont had a good D. They were ranked up there pretty well. Even a team like Syracuse, who did not have the service of their best defender last year in Mellon, even they were a pretty good team defense. Now, once again, you could say they were in the early part of their schedule and they didn't have to face the ACC. That's the tough part. These ACC teams typically are going to, they're all a bunch of high scoring offenses. So their goals against average kind of drops. So Syracuse, I think they were like 11th. They probably would have dropped goals against wise down to like top, 14, 15 area or something like that. But Syracuse is a pretty solid defense as well. Notre Dame always plays fairly solid defensively. You would expect that Hopkins may have a resurgence and play really tough defensively. Another team that was underrated, I think, defensively over the last couple of years because their offense was incredible was Penn State. How they have a really solid goalkeeper coming back and they have some veterans coming back on defense. So lots of teams out there to talk about, but I think that Army is a safe bet in terms of if you made me pick a team, what team do I think has the best chance of being the number 1 defense by the end of the year? I think the Army Black Knights do. And that is it.